Well, a lot's going on in the world, and of course, we'll be talking about that. We'll see who else joins us, and all along those lines. But a number of things are taking place, including peace in Ukraine looks further away after Trump's call with Putin. So Trump backs off of a ceasefire after call with Putin, letting fighting continue. So Ukrainians are bracing for a lonelier fight as Trump backs off of his ceasefire call. And at one point, President Trump yesterday was saying that he was confident that Putin wanted peace with Ukraine and thinks he's had enough of the war. But apparently he is changing his mind on that. And now he's backing off of the ceasefire after his call with President Putin from Russia. Strikes on Gaza kill at least 60 people, local officials say, as criticism against Israel mounts. So Israel kills over 70 as healthcare crisis deepens in Gaza. So that's something that people are talking about also. And the UK and Europe target Russia with major sanctions after the Putin Trump call. So the UK hits Russia with sanctions targeting military and financial sectors. And the EU plans new sanctions on Russia in a push for a Ukrainian ceasefire. So that's something else that's going on. And Netanyahu, coming back to Israel, vows to take control of Gaza as the UK, France, and Canada are all threatening action. So Netanyahu says Israel will take over Gaza as it allows food to trickle into that particular enclave. A serious mistake delaying our victory. Ben Gore slams resumption of aid to Gaza. So the first few aid trucks entered Gaza, but allies threatened Israel with sanctions and urged more. And the second man has been charged over the fires at the properties linked to Prime Minister Keir Starmer. So the second man has been charged over fires at a home linked to the Prime Minister. So the UK police have arrested a third man over that fire at Prime Minister Starmer's house as well. So it looks like they've got a couple of folks that they are looking at. And WHO members adopt a pandemic agreement born out of the disjointed global efforts that were there in the last pandemic. So the World Health Organization members vote in favor of a global pandemic agreement. The world agrees a pandemic accord for tackling outbreaks of disease. So landmark global pandemic agreement has been adopted by the World Health Organization members. And the UN says 14,000 babies could die in Gaza in the next 48 hours under the Israeli rule and all in that space. UN has clearance for 100 more aid trucks to enter Gaza, officials say. But definitely that's something that's being reported. CNN had an article that said this girl is trying to keep her family alive in Gaza. Hunger already killed her baby nieces. So definitely, they're even saying that in private, some Israeli officers are admitting that Gaza is on the brink of starvation. And Poland's far right lays down demands to presidential hopefuls. So the race for Poland's presidency blows wide open. That was yesterday, and I believe I heard that the far right actually might have won that one, and all along those lines. But I'll keep an eye on that because they do say, like I said, that Poland's far right lays down demands to presidential hopefuls. And Portugal's election falls short of ending political instability. Portugal's far right Chega surges as the ruling party misses the majority. So Portugal's prime minister wins the vote, the far right party surges. So we'll see how this plays out as well. And open borders for Europe carbon trading in the Trump era. Europe and the UK reset relations almost a decade after Brexit nearly broke them. So definitely lots going on in the UK as well. And a 12-year-old girls, I should say, were killed after a driver ran a red light in Taiwan. So 3 killed and 13 injured in a new Taipei City car crash. Flowers pile up at that fatal car crash scene in New Taipei. So definitely that's something that people are talking about as well. So a lot's going on in that space. We'll get to some other news in the sense of national news. And all along that, monkeys are kidnapping babies of another species on a Panamanian island. And some people are very perplexed by that. So researchers are puzzled over the rash of baby monkey kidnappings. It looks so wrong. Researchers find never seen before footage of capuchins engaging in unprecedented behavior. So maybe they're not able to have their own babies and they want to have others as well. And we have news from Spain. Apparently, Spain has blocked more than 65,000 Airbnb holiday rental listings. So Spain has ordered Airbnb to take down 66,000 rental listings, and that is something that is going on. I think even Nick has said that they can be very harsh on the way that they treat people that are coming in as tourists or as immigrants or other things as well. But maybe he'll have some thoughts about that when I bring him in. And Trump's proposal to repatriate Ukrainians and Haitians would use foreign aid funds. So the Trump administration is lining up more countries to take its deportees. So Trump is building up a global gulag for immigrants captured by ICE. So that is one of the things that people are talking about as well. So like I said, lots going on in that space. And Iran warns nuclear talks will fail if U.S. pushes for zero enrichment. Iran foreign minister vows nuclear enrichment will continue with or without a deal. So that's something else that folks are talking about as well. And El Salvador has arrested a prominent human rights lawyer. So the lawyer for the Venezuelans deported to El Salvador prison had been arrested. So El Salvador arrests that particular human rights lawyer who had been critical of president in their country, Bukele. And that's something that people are talking about as well. So definitely a lot's going on in that space. I think there might have even been some climate news where there were some concerns about what could be going on with the climate and all along those lines as well. But I'll see if I can find that article. But let me get to some of the U.S. news, and then we'll bring in our fine folks to see what they've got to say about a number of these stories as well. Trump is on Capitol Hill to push for his budget bill. So the Donald Trump is to talk with House GOP amid a funding impasse. So this might be a test of his leadership and all in that space. And Representative LaMonica McKeever has been charged by the DOJ over an incident with ICE agents. So she's been charged with assault after a skirmish at ICE Center, New Jersey prosecutors are saying. So the Democrats have denounced McKeever's charges. So definitely that's going on as well. And severe storms bring risk of tornadoes and hail to Oklahoma. So there might be some risky weather in that part of the world. And the Supreme Court has let Trump in deportation protections for Venezuelans. So the Supreme Court let Trump lift deportation protections for Venezuelans. So that means some of them might be heading back to Venezuela. And it's going to be tough. Virginia Republicans brace for a grim November. So Virginia statewide GOP nominees refuse to buck Trump in a state where he's a proven albatross. So headlines from across the state: Youngkin calls for transformation of child welfare system, and there's other things in that space as well. And the fertility clinic bombing spotlights the nihilistic violent extremism wave. So apparently there was in the recent days a Palm Springs fertility clinic bombing, and one patient, an IVF patient, said, "My embryo's a little fighter," and they thanked the heroes after that Palm Springs bombing and all along those lines. So, like I said, a lot's going on in the world, and I'll get ready to bring in my folks. We might get to some other stories as well later on and everything like that. But I'm going to bring in Rick Rosner. I've also got Nick Palveda with me and everything. This is, I wish Jacoby was here, but he's not, or Sasha. But I was reading the news yesterday, and today would have been the century birthday of a famous gentleman, or actually yesterday would have been the century birthday of a famous gentleman. Some people thought that he was overly radical. Some people thought that he had some good ideas. We're talking about civil rights, but Malcolm X would have been 100 years old on yesterday, on May 19th, and everything.
Sorry, you cut out. Who would have been 100?
Malcolm X. Malcolm X.
Oh, okay.
Malcolm X. Never heard of him.
You never heard of him. You never heard of Malcolm X. You heard of Martin Luther King, but you never heard of his
never heard of Malcolm X.
extreme.
Kind of the other side of the civil rights coin.
Yeah.
Is he from Spain?
He's not from Spain.
Malcolm X is by any means necessary guy, as opposed to MLK Jr. was like, we're going to do civil disobedience. We're going to, so.
And Malcolm X also changed his views when he went to, I know Israel and Mecca is in the news, but he changed his views when he went to Mecca because he found that there was fair-eyed and fair-skinned, meaning white people that shared his religious beliefs. Because when he went to Mecca, he was thinking that I guess it was going to be mostly people that were black and brown, and he's found out that there were some white brothers and sisters that were also going to Mecca that were part of the Muslim religion, whether they were Sunni or Shiite, or whether they were, I doubt they were Nation of Islam, but they were definitely folks that he found that were of different racial tones. So he kind of toned down some of his rhetoric, is what some people say.
Yeah, I would say that would be correct. Speaking of which, in Spain, so apparently what they did is they stopped the Airbnbs here. But let me
I
tell you
was
what.
going to ask you about that. They stopped the
Yeah, let me tell you
Airbnb.
what's going on. The problem is that the foreigners, such as myself and others, are driving the locals out of their houses, or making the houses so expensive they can't afford it. And so what they do is they buy homes not to live in, like I'm doing, but to rent out at ridiculously high prices, taking advantage of the 90 million people who visit here every year. And in Barcelona, it's 7 million people who come to the city of Barcelona every year. So they have such an influx of tourists that it pays for people around the world, literally. They'll come into Spain, buy a house, slap it on Airbnb, and start making money. And that keeps bringing the housing prices up.
Well, here's
Okay,
what's
all well
Spain-
and good, except the Spanish that live here can't afford to live here. So
Well,
that's-
here's what you have to do. Spain is too nice. You need to elect somebody like Trump to really screw Spain up and drive tourists away. Tourism is down 20% in the United States because
The things that Trump is
The
doing.
problem is that it's a two-edged sword, though, Rick, because 15% of all the money made in Barcelona is made off the tourist. So they're driving away a factor that just basically hands them money every year. So it's kind of a two-edged sword. So what do they do? What can they do to keep prices reasonable for the Spaniards, but not drive away the tourists? Now, if you're a libertarian capitalist, you just let everything go as it is. And, it's too bad for
Just
the
let
local.
it goes as it was going. Hey, by the way, because we got all kinds of news, and since you're there, we'll talk about it today and everything. But apparently, Spain is also unveiling groundbreaking immigration changes in 2025, boosting security, streaming. It looks like they're streamlining some of their residency things and all along those lines, and empowering international travelers and expats. So I guess it looks like they're trying to empower you. So Spain has introduced a powerful new immigration overhaul in 2025 that accelerates residency processes, enhances border security, and transforms travel opportunities for UK visitors. They didn't say anything about US visitors, but they did say these reforms respond to evolving security needs and changing migration patterns, simplifying legal pathways for residents while tightening controls on short-term stays.
UK people from England love to get away to Spain and other sunny countries. The UK is it's like shockingly close to the Arctic Circle. It's
I have bad news for Nick though, because he's been talking about it for years, and well, at least a little bit and everything. But Nick, one of the first things that I see, don't want you to have a heart attack and everything, but one of the most notable shifts in Spain is the complete abolition of Spain's golden visa program from May 2025 onward. So apparently they're getting rid of your famous golden visa, and they're just getting rid of say, no, that's okay. So they're getting rid of the golden visa.
We looked at that. Spain and Portugal both have the golden visa program, or had it. And basically you put $500,000 up and poof, you get a visa. That's kind of it. Yeah, they always make you fill out paperwork, but it's a pretty good deal. I'm not sure if it's a good deal to eliminate it. They may want to up it. But there were a lot of people taking advantage of the golden visa and coming here. Again, it's a two-edged sword. What you're doing is you're getting rid of a lot of your economic base for reasons that I'm not really sure of.
So they do have some other good news for you, though. They said Spain is introducing tighter controls on student visas granted to language learners. So under the new rules, language students will only be allowed one renewal of their visa. So I guess they're going to learn Spanish.
You don't run into any hostility from people because you're an American in Spain, right? People are perfectly nice to you, I would think.
No, I haven't run into anything. But remember, in Barcelona, 17% of the population, speaks English, and they're not from here. In other words, there's a lot of migrants that are here. So you got a big part of the population in Barcelona that's an international group. So I haven't. Also, I don't live in the trade state areas. The Turista areas is what they call the Gotic Center or Barcelona, which is where all the cruise ships, they dock, and then the people, they run around, they want to see the Sagrada Familia, they want to go see the Barcelona Cathedral. So if you hang around those areas and La Rambla, then you could be in trouble. That's where there's now you like this number, Rick, 800,000 pickpockets a year in Barcelona. It's huge. You can almost guarantee if you come to Spain and you're a tourist, you're going to be relieved of your belongings.
So there are places to keep your, like, I keep my wallet in my sock when I'm,
that's not bad. Right?
That's a good place to go and everything. Hey, Nick, you're going to love this one. I told you I was just going to try to find some Spanish news today and everything. But your prime minister, because he's your prime minister now, since you now live in Spain, Pedro Sanchez has called on Monday. He called yesterday for Israel's exclusion from international cultural events such as the Eurovision Song Contest over its military campaign in Gaza, just as Russia was barred after its invasion of Ukraine. We cannot allow double standards, and not even in culture, is what Sanchez, a socialist and longtime critic of Israeli policies in occupied Palestinian territories, told a conference in Madrid. So I believe that no one was shocked 3 years ago when Russia was asked to withdraw from international competitions after it invaded Ukraine and not participate, for example, at Eurovision. Therefore, Israel should not do so either. So apparently this big singing contest that y'all have over there, they don't want the Israelis to come to the contest.
I think that it's too late. I think they already won the Eurovision, believe it or not. The Israelis actually participated in one. So Pedro is a little too late to the bargaining table on that one. What can I say? And remember, the European Union is almost like the United States. It's huge, and all these countries are basically states. It's just, like I said, it's kind of different. So Spain's just a state. We'll get rid of him. Instead, we'll add somebody from Asia. There he is, Dr. Sharif.
There's Dr. Sharif. I did have one more story for you, and then we're going to get to what Sharif's got going on in Asia. But I know that a couple of weeks ago, y'all had a major electrical outage, Nick, and apparently there was a major mobile network that suffered a massive outage in Spain, like today. So apparently y'all had a massive outage with your phone. So I don't know if you tried to use your phone today, but apparently that happened after the electricity blackout and some company called Telefonica was impacted.
Here's what they're doing over here. Spain is going on all renewable energy. And what happened is, unfortunately, the grid, the amount of renewable energy they get from solar and other places wasn't strong enough to support the entire country. So it collapsed. So then they brought it back up again, reinforced it. So now it's okay. But you have to give them some credit, Mark. And this is where the United States fails. They actually had a policy to move on to renewable energy, and they're almost at 100%. The United States has, as David Walker says, no plan, no policy on any front. They're horrible. They have no 5-year plan to do X or Y. Here's also where they excel. The transportation system. I don't have a car. I don't need a car. I get around on they have these high-speed rails. They have high-speed, what do they call it? They have rails, they have trams, they have subways, and they have buses. I mean, you can get around without a car here pretty easy. As a matter of fact, it's almost like
we might can do the same thing where Sharif is, but I'm getting ready to find out. Sharif, one of the things we were talking about that came out of Spain is I know that apparently they have shut down on Airbnbs in Spain. They're going to block nearly 66,000, and I know that even here in the States, we have some very popular bed and breakfasts. Actually, a couple of close acquaintances of mine own one of the ones here in Durham and everything. So do y'all have a lot of Airbnbs, and are y'all trying to block them, and do y'all have a lot of bed and breakfasts in Bangladesh and other parts of Asia where you're at? So do you have a lot of people that are going to stay to see bed and breakfasts or making them available for Airbnbs?
Yeah, this Airbnb concept and this business actually developing in Bangladesh last few years, but definitely it's not like Singapore or not like Hong Kong or not like Malaysia, but it's growing. But in my forum, Airbnb Board of Advisor, Dr. Talib Rafael, he is president of World
He
I think he's
froze.
freezing up.
He froze. Well, hopefully he'll come
Hello,
back.
can you hear me?
We can hear you
Yeah,
now.
we can hear you now.
Yeah,
You were spotty there. You know, I guess you have the
Okay.
Spain internet system over there, Sharif.
Okay, Bangladesh
What
internet, just we invite.
sometimes it doesn't.
Well,
So,
he's starting to sound clear. So let's hear about the Airbnbs
We,
from.
okay.
yeah, so Bangladesh just growing this Airbnb cultures and all of the things, uh, and definitely it's not so popular what you call, but we have a concept. You know, I grow in a small village of Bangladesh, and now I am helping my village to make a smart village in Bangladesh. So we call it when the extra member of our family, extra people from of our family, they came to visit our village. So we have extra room for them. We call it, it's a Bangla word, we call it Boitok Khana. It means the guests who come and who live there and spend their time and everything. And Bangladeshi people, they always welcome guests. Always, they love to welcome guests. And this is also Muslim community's culture. Muslim community believe that when the new guest come, it's actually blessings for our family. So we do not charge or anything from the new guest who come to visit our place. But Airbnb is a concept that we have to take money from them per night or something, but it's growing in Bangladesh. But I just want to share our World Talent Economic Forum initiative, what I'm discussing about Rajbari. Rajbari means a palace. One of the Nobel laureates and many famous people lived in Rajbari before. So we are planning to uplift, you know, that Himalayas, then Ganga, then Padda, then Bay of Bengal. I think USA has keen interest about Bay of Bengal. So in this area, in this region, we are developing our smart initiative, maybe for our 100 million peoples. The community we are growing, the community we are developing with the help of all of the local communities. Maybe we can invite Pot TV in our communities, and maybe you can get 100 million people subscription in next 3 to 5 years in Bangladesh, and maybe
So if you want to go to, I'm checking out prices. You can get a crappy hotel room in Dhaka for $12 a night. The Hotel Sea Queen, which is only gets a 3 out of 10. So not a good hotel, but only $12 a night. If you want a nice place, Cox's Bazaar, 8 out of 10, $35 a night. So
Yeah, those are good prices and everything. But Sasha,
That's American prices.
Sharif, I do have a question for you. Hold on a second. I do have a question for you because there's a major issue in the United States, and I don't know. Kim has kind of alluded to it a couple of times, but it exists in the United States. It exists in some of the Latin American countries and other places as well. In my research, I have also found that it is a problem in Bangladesh as well, because apparently y'all have and my brothers actually worked with this group that I'm going to mention, which is teenagers that can be troublemakers. So y'all have a teen gang culture there in Bangladesh. Apparently there's something called the Kishar gangs and everything. So I just wondering, what are they doing to fight against this? Because apparently there are like 50 active teen gangs just in the capital city of Bangladesh, Dhaka, and everything. So what are y'all
yeah,
doing to try to eradicate this gang problem?
yeah, this is not far from my place. I live in Dhanmondi and it's in Mohammadpur, what you are discussing. So thank you. You are doing detailed research about this area. Honestly speaking, after the new regime come, the new government come, our law and order system is not moving in a proper way. Maybe after elections, when the new government come, they will be more powerful and they can solve these things. Beside that, when the new regime come, I find that many of the uh, business organization they shut down. So that is the reason I think more than 300,000 people they are unemployed. So those who are unemployed, they may go for the wrong way, to go for hijack, go for all of the wrong things. But our law and order and police and all of the people's politicians, they are trying, even our defense, our army trying to solve this problem. Let's see what happened. But definitely, I believe when we have a good governance, example like a newly elected government, they may solve many problems in a effective way.
It
That is
just,
my
but there's some. Y'all have another very popular sport. Unfortunately, y'all lost. So I'm sure you're crying about this and everything. But I did see that cricket is very popular, and apparently y'all lost to the United Arab Emirates today and everything. But it was by 2 wickets, and I don't know that much about the game. So 2 wickets, I'm assuming it's like two. But it does look like y'all lost to the United Arab Emirates in a match in Sharjah and everything like that. So it's still incredibly popular in Bangladesh. I'm guessing there were tons of fans at this cricket match.
Yeah, actually, cricket is very popular, very popular in India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. Bangladesh is a test playing country. So when honestly speaking, it's my assumption UAE is a rich country, right? Very rich country. So they may invite a good player from India and from Pakistan, and may give them a very good amount of salary and all of the things. So that's why the team become very strong. But Bangladesh is test playing country. They lost against UAE. This is I think many of our supporters, Bangladeshi cricket fan supporters, uh, they are not happy with these things. But it's actually transition moment. Maybe after 6 month or 9 month, Bangladesh cricket team also overcome from these situations. But thank you, Mark. I think that you are going and detailed research about Bangladesh, about Bangladesh cultures, and all of the things. This is very interesting. And
Yeah.
I also want to thanks Donald Trump, especially when he is taking initiative for this some of the global peace. And definitely, maybe some of you are argue with me, but especially the India and Pakistan conflict, his administration actually solved,
To
and we want to.
just really, there apparently there was said I was researching. There was a deal between India and so y'all are going to get less from India, so that probably help you. I'm thinking that your organization is probably working with this electricity trade. So it's
Right, you're breaking up a little bit.
You're breaking
I have
up,
some
Mark.
other ideas. So if it seems like you probably want to visit Dhaka, the capital of Bangladesh. I checked out. You can get a nice dinner for the equivalent of $4 American, and also you can buy gems in Dhaka at like a really good price because much of the cost of like an amethyst or a citrine is the cost of cutting and polishing the stone, and labor costs are not super high in Dhaka. So I bet you can buy some nice gemstones to get put into jewelry.
Okay, what about five-star hotels?
You can so a Western hotel like a Crown Plaza. I don't know why you'd want to do that in Dhaka, but that's $270 a night, which is the same as in like any European country. But you can stay in a nice, not part of an international hotel franchise for $80 a night.
that's a great price. Can y'all hear me now?
What
This
is
is what I
the
was.
best city to go to? And is it Dhaka, or are there some better cities to go to there around Bangladesh? I don't know anybody from Bangladesh could answer that question. Oh wait, Dr. Sharif. What would be a good city to go to in Bangladesh?
Actually, like Dhaka is I think Homestoner, your friend, he visited Dhaka with his friends, Mr. John. So Dhaka has too much of crowd. But if you really want to enjoy your leisure time, you can visit Chittagong. Chittagong has seaport. Yeah, Chittagong has seaport. Chittagong has good foods. Chittagong has hill. It's a different cultures and good nature. So I think Homestoner, when he visit Dhaka, he also visit Chittagong. So when you come here, so you can visit many good places. And we have another good thing is called mangrove forest. It's in Sundarban. It's the largest mangrove forest around the world. So this is a very good place
Hey,
for.
Dr. Sharif, what kind of animals are there in India that or Bangladesh that people might see that if they were to visit? I'm thinking if you got a forest, that there are probably a lot of tigers and maybe even some cheetahs and other animals that are there. So if they come to visit the forest, what animals will they be seeing?
Very good question. Very good questions. Like Royal Bengal Tigers is our nationals. Uh, we proud for this Royal Bengal Tigers. We have many more animals like monkeys, elephants, and many other things in Sundarban and in Chittagong Hill Track area. But honestly speaking, I'm a little bit worried about the ecosystem of Bangladesh because we have too much of populations and we lose a lot of our trees and forest because of our populations. So it may hamper our ecosystem also.
Yeah, that makes sense. The question when I was breaking up that I was asking was apparently there's a new deal between India and Bangladesh about electricity and power. What are you hearing about that new deal? So apparently there's a deal involving.
I recently Bangladesh and India has some tension because the regime change, our government change. So we have definitely a good business contract in between India and Bangladesh, but majorly our energy sector investment come from China, and our 60% oil and gas come from Chevron from USA. So our 60% energy we buy from USA.
Thank you. Appreciate that. You got some things you wanted to know, Nick?
Well, yeah, I was just looking at the golf courses that were in Dhaka, because I got to find out where the golf clubs are. But it looks like you have quite a few golf courses around Dhaka. The other thing I was looking at, Sharif, see, the thing is, in the United States, we're really good at creating tourist traps, they call them. In other words, things you've got to go see once you're over there. And in Spain, and especially Barcelona, where I live, we have the Sagrada Familia. You've got to go see the Sagrada Familia. And in Paris, they have the Louvre. You've got to go see the Louvre. Yet, the number one tourist attraction in Europe, by far, is not the Louvre. It's not the Roman Colosseum. It's not the Sagrada Familia. Dr. Sharif, it's Disneyland Paris, if you can imagine that.
And they just
So,
built that.
Disneyland Paris kills all. More people will go to Disneyland Paris than the Louvre, Sagrada Familia, the Russian Colosseum. You name all the tourist traps in Europe, no, Disney beats them. So my question to you, Dr. Sharif, what sort of tourist trap plan are you planning Disneyland Dhaka? Okay.
Yeah, this is
What are
very
your thoughts?
interesting. This is very interesting idea you are sharing with me. So Dhaka is highly density populated country, but my place not so far from Dhaka. It's 3 hours drive from Dhaka. But if we can develop a bridge, maybe it's 1 hour drive. So because we have the Padma river near this place, so maybe we can plan like a Disney park and Disney city in that region. It's a practical things, but definitely it's need lot of investment and lot of uh, attractions and branding. Why don't Pot TV come to Bangladesh and I introduce you with our media, with our government, and you help us to make a good branding Bangladesh, right? You make a big brand because few people know about Bangladesh. You help us like CNN, like BBC, and it's a professional jobs, and we attract investors, we attract tourists, we attract like what we see in Dubai, lot of branding and everything. So Port TV can be a good friend for Bangladesh. Maybe I
Yeah.
can send it to Dr. Mohammed Yunus tomorrow morning.
You can go
About
see the
this.
president. I like this idea for you, Nick. But just really quickly along those same lines and coming back to Rick's industry and all along those lines, because I know India has a very rich film community. Is there a rich film community in Bangladesh? So y'all having a lot of people that are making movies and are doing music as well. So what's the entertainment community look like in Bangladesh?
India movie industry definitely very big.
Mhm.
But in Bangladesh, many rich people, those who doing this garments business and all of the things, they also invest in media. So I saw that Nick and Kimberly and all of you have a very good background in media. I'm not media person at all. I just try to learn from this show or from Nick and all of the things. But maybe we can invite them as an investors and throw new idea, new concept. But Bangladeshi people love media like Hollywood, like Bollywood, very much. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, they actually do have a pretty big, robust media industry over there, Mark. But I don't know exactly what they produce. I'm going to be in Budapest. They don't call it Budapest; it's Budapest.
Right.
In the end of June. So I'll talk to the people. I'm looking up right now to see if the people from Disney are going to be there.
They were there at the one in Miami.
Yeah. Were Disney people there in Miami?
There were some Disney.
Okay, I have a lot of meetings scheduled with a lot of the movie producers for our new program, which you guys probably don't know about yet, but it's under development. We have this URL. I'll put it up there. Blockbuster Video.
Yep. Speaking of Blockbuster Video, while you're putting that up there and everything, hey Rick, I was watching yesterday a episode. It was actually an episode where people were thinking it was Miss Kitty's son, but it wasn't. It was one of her saloon people and everything, son, and everything like that. So I just wondered, what's up with the emergence of popularity on some TV with Gunsmoke and some of these old shows? I know I had the interview with the Little House.
So, I mean, if you try watching those shows, they're old. They're 60, 70 years old. They're boring. But with AI, in the near future, like you can already order like endless Seinfeld scripts. The AI, you can say, AI, write me a new Seinfeld, and they'll give you a script, and it'll be passable. You'll be able to, but in the future, you'll get entirely new productions. Or if you want an episode like show me Gunsmoke, but everybody's naked, you could have a whole AI will get in there and remove everybody's clothing if you want. You can do whatever you want. Or
AI is really starting to take over in terms of media. So the thing is going to replace all people.
But I want to talk about the lunatic who blew himself up in Palm Springs.
Yeah, I was going to get to that.
That guy is like, it's always nice if somebody's going to die in an explosion when it's the bomber himself. So this guy, the guy who blew himself up, was an anti-life activist. He wants people to not be alive.
Wait a minute. So he blew up an abortion clinic because he's anti-life? Now I'm very confused.
No, he blew up a fertility clinic because he doesn't want people to be born in general. He said he had a manifesto. He said, I didn't ask to be born and people shouldn't be born. He wants to depopulate the planet, just get rid of all humans. So it was a complete lunatic. And so
he blew himself up.
Yeah.
So he's successful.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good. All I can say is good for him. I'm looking for Disney. I don't see Disney attending NAPTI in Budapest.
I'm pretty sure they attended. I'm pretty sure they attended in Florida because Disney's based in Florida, and I do think that me and Kim ran into some Disney people, but that might be a long trip and everything like that. Hey, Rick, I just have a side question, and maybe Sharice got some ideas of this as well, since we're talking about maybe some more lighthearted news stories, but still serious. What's up with this particular monkey breed that's going around kidnapping other creatures and everything? Because when I was reading that story, I was going like, this is weird. Monkeys kidnapping other things and everything along those lines.
I mean, monkeys are cute, and apparently monkeys think monkeys are cute.
They think cats are cute because they were kidnapping other creatures.
Monkeys really aren't that cute. Okay,
they'll grow to adulthood, and then they will tear your face off.
Yeah, if you go to Gibraltar, which is right south of Spain, it's an English colony, so to speak, which makes the Spanish mad because they think that should be part of Spain, and the English, they don't care. It's part of the United Kingdom. Anyway, you take the tram, you take this vernacular up to the top, you get off, and they don't warn you enough. The monkeys will assault you, seriously. I mean, the thing is, they assaulted my wife and grabbed her, ripped her stuff off because they were looking for food, and then they run to the edge of the mountain, and they dare you to go chase them because it's like a 3,000-foot straight drop. They're just unbelievably aggressive creatures, and they're very well known. All I have to do is Google the monkeys in Gibraltar, and they let them there because they're kind of cute, and it's kind of like an amusement thing.
And apparently, like I said, it was one monkey kidnapping another monkey because it was the capuchin monkeys that apparently were kidnapping the howler monkeys. But it does look like it was the one monkey species kidnapping another monkey species. So maybe they thought they were related. Who knows? But
yeah, I'm just saying that you got to be really careful with the monkeys in Gibraltar. Now there's plenty of monkeys in the United States, and you have to be careful too. A lot of them hang around Washington.
They confiscated a baby spider monkey from a local meth dealer. Meth dealers, they make a lot of bad decisions, and that includes like adopting monkeys. And so idiots get monkeys confiscated. There's a whole monkey smuggling industry where
hey, Nick and Nick and Rick. There's another, and Dr. Tree. There's another story that's coming out of the world of politics and the international politics that is involving a major industry. And maybe you were drinking that when you're over in Spain, but apparently the French government is being accused of hiding Nestle's illegal treatment of bottled water. So it involves Perrier. So Perrier owners have been scrutinized after France reportedly covered up illegal water filter treatment. So apparently they're not just it's supposed to be that great mineral water, and apparently they're not filtering it correctly. And Macron's office is all into this inquiry. So apparently it's a major issue in your next door neighbor of France. So are you going over there and getting a lot of mineral water? And what is your take on the French apparently investigating their mineral water?
I'm glad they're doing the investigation. So we do have plans to travel to Carcassonne. Now, Carcassonne, a lot of people don't know of, but you got to Google it. Carcassonne is basically a fortress city, a medieval city. It's one of the most preserved medieval cities in southern France, and it's kind of difficult to get to. It's north of Andorra. So I might be drinking the water in France. The other thing we're looking at, Mark, is going to Egypt. Okay, Egypt has tours along the Nile, and they're just incredible. In other words, the thing is, they have such treasures there because they have all these. They have the Luxor, the Sphinx, the Giza, and all these statues. And the last one is, and this is the most difficult one, is to go to Tanzania, where they have the Serengeti. Believe it or not, you'd think, Tanzania and Kenya is inexpensive. No, it's very expensive, okay? Because apparently we're not the only ones who want to tour in the Serengeti Plain and Mount Kilimanjaro. So they drove the prices up, which is one of the reasons I was telling Sharif. I said, look, if you want to get your economy going, you need to do what Spain did, attract the turistas, and they need a reason to go. And the turistas will go to see anything. They're bored out of their minds. But you need some reason to go to Dhaka. In other words, why would you go to Dhaka?
Speaking of tourists being bored and everything,
where's your UNESCO heritage site that you can, market and get people to go to Bangladesh? And
we got to get a flight for him and everything. Hey, but I got a question for Rick and everything along those lines, because one of the things that can drive tourism away, and I didn't realize that it hit. I knew it hit usually and everything, but apparently y'all find folks in California are bracing for triple-digit heat, and they're saying that is hitting y'all hard as that dangerous weather pattern.
Yeah, so LA tourism is down from the wildfires. It's down from COVID. It's down from foreign tourists hearing that they can get detained for ridiculous reasons. And LA has to get its shit together before 2028, when we'll be displayed to the world for the Olympics. We've got 70,000 people.
We got 100-degree temperatures down, because
I believe that will eventually drive the entertainment industry out of Los Angeles. That as global warming means that LA starts having dozens and dozens of 100-degree days every year. Entertainment industry people are spoiled babies. They don't like being inconvenienced. They don't like being uncomfortable. They will leave. They will move north to Vancouver eventually, or to Silicon Valley, where they won't put up with. I think in the next 20 years, New York used to be the center of the entertainment industry, and then LA took over. And I believe we're going to see another shift in the, medium future.
Well,
That's
speaking
because
of
of Tom
yesterday,
Edison's patents. He was
That's
patenting
right.
and
That's
suing them.
right. Thomas Edison was a dick. So if you
Yeah.
wanted to make a movie on the East Coast, you paid out the butt for Edison cameras, or
right?
you would try to use cheaper cameras. Edison would send goons to beat up your crew and break your cameras. So people are like, F that, I'm moving west.
Right.
And the whole movie industry moved to Los Angeles.
Yeah, but now you got to compete internationally, and that's why Trump wanted to put 100% tariff on movies. But
Yeah.
how
No,
are
the
you
way
going to
you
do
do
it?
it is tax credits. Los Angeles and California
Yeah.
have fallen way behind in sweetening production deals by giving you tax credits.
Well,
Right.
speaking of tax credits and everything, I got a question for you, Nick, and it's involving you and Sasha. And I know Sasha is preparing for his trip, and I'll see if he makes it to the
I think he left to go to
everything
Poland.
like that. But apparently, the Nvidia stock has fallen sharply, and apparently, this is a major news and everything. I know that a lot of people were excited about Nvidia, and maybe they're still excited, but they are saying that the stock is falling. So, is this the beginning of the end of Nvidia?
No, it's just an aberration. See, the thing, NVIDIA will eventually come back. In other words, you have to look at the market on a long-term basis rather than a short-term basis. Short-term, it's going to go up and down. Long-term, it's going to go up. And NVIDIA is here to stay.
NVIDIA is fine. NVIDIA still has a PE ratio of 45.
I think the PE ratios are high, but at the same time, they keep bringing money in the door, and as long as they keep increasing the money that goes to the door, they're going to run these high PE ratios, right? So NVIDIA is not going to go anywhere. And
there's some.
And in 1 month, the price of NVIDIA has gone from $96 a share. Right now, it's at almost $134 a share. So,
right.
So it's still doing all right, but apparently there's some major movers in the stock market, and some of them are surprising me because I did not think we were doing that much construction. But as I'm looking in Bloomberg, they said some of the stock movers are Home Depot, Viking Holdings, which I think might be the cruise industry, but I'm not sure about that, and Amer Sports. And then they're also saying that some of the stocks making the biggest pre-market moves include Walmart, Netflix, Tesla, Reddit, and a couple of others as well. But
it's all short term. Speaking of which, is Sasha going to be doing the Ukraine show, or is he?
He is planning to do it at 11 o'clock. He told me he was
really?
going to do
Is he going to be broadcasting from Warsaw?
He just told me to send him links, and he's going to do it every Tuesday.
Oh wow! Okay. Well, I'll tune in. He might be broadcasting from Warsaw because he said yesterday he was going to take the plane and head off to Warsaw because he wanted to go visit Sharif and Dhaka, but apparently he's not going to get that far, and he's going to turn around and come back. So
I want to invite you all in Dhaka. I'm sure you will enjoy the Dhaka trip. And besides that, today's shows, I think it's very productive for Bangladesh. I already introduced Dr. Mohammad Yunus, our Port TV initiative. I invite him in our Port TV show. He's a Nobel laureate, and he is our country chief. So hopefully Port TV can be a very good partner for Bangladesh, for branding Bangladesh, right? So
you just invited the Bangladesh president is what he's trying to tell you, Nick. So hopefully the president will show up and we'll have him on the show. That would be a scoop.
You are in Sisi.
We could probably make room for the president of Bangladesh on one of our shows, Sharif.
I'm sure we can make room for the president.
I already invite him because he's a Nobel laureate. He win Nobel Prize for microeconomics like this, microfinance.
Well, we'll get him on David Walker's show.
Maybe David Walker. Yeah. He's very, very well known. Like when I visited Stanford, I see that he has a beautiful portrait in the
we'll try to get him on for sure.
Stanford Student Union. So he's a very popular man around the world because of his microfinance initiative.
For sure.
And all of that. I invite him in the Port TV, and maybe Port TV can be a very good partner for Bangladesh.
Yeah.
I like that
So-
idea.
Well, that helps to bring a Nobel laureate on board. There's two things that will help the relationship with Bangladesh and Pod TV. Number one, bring a Nobel laureate to the show. Number two, bring us a big airplane. We'll take it.
You still want your own plane.
Bangladesh, like if you're gonna
You're trying to
do it,
negotiate with Qatar still. Remember, you're trying to negotiate with Qatar. But I did have one last question as we only got about 9 minutes to go and everything, because there's a very popular sport that is involving the ladies, and apparently they are saying that even though it's got 2 stars, that there is no place for hate, and that's what both Caitlin Clark and the Fever said, because they're back in an investigation, because apparently they're saying that
Angel,
he's doing the game against this guy, but and Caitlin Clark said it was too loud to hear the alleged racial comments, but supports the WNBA investigation. So there is this whole notion of fair play and everything, even in the WNBA, as they just now are starting off their season and everything like that. So we'll see how this.
so Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, they tussle a lot.
They tussle all the time. Yeah,
also, but I feel like they, I don't know how much actual animosity is there, maybe a little bit, but they also know it plays really well, that they get a lot of
really well on the media. I'm wondering if it's staged like the World Wrestling Federation. I got a meatball, right? I got Caitlin Clark. And all of a sudden it dries up the ratings, who knows? But it actually makes good theater. It's like Donald Trump. He's great theater, great for the TV industry.
Well, speaking of great theater, apparently this Republican tax plan could hurt at least 58 colleges. I know that you don't care about that, Nick, and everything, but they're saying that 58 colleges could get hurt by this plan, Harvard being one of them, but there's other ones as well. So maybe we're going to see some colleges shutting down in the United States because they're saying this.
no.
Those colleges are rich.
Going out of business.
Those colleges are rich. They're going to get hurt if the government doesn't keep sucking money over there. They have billions and billions of dollars. I'm not really too sympathetic, even though we do have several professors that are on our network. One of them, Dan Fleetwood, who's actually at Vanderbilt, and he doesn't want to see the money at Vanderbilt. I can't blame him. As a professor, I'd like to see the money go too. But the fact is, Vanderbilt and university will be around with or without government funding. It's just the nature of the beast. What I really don't like what they're doing is these tax cuts for wealthy people. We do not need more wealthy people in this country. I was talking to somebody on Facebook the other day, and I asked, well, how you doing? It's like a Shaquille clone in San Francisco. Oh, I did pretty good. I made $148,000 yesterday on a trade. Oh, really? And then she shows me again, look, I made another $160,000. I said, well, we have people on our network who make $4 million a year, doing trading. She goes, I make more than that. All right.
All right, so let's talk about the numbers. If you're in the bottom 20%, of the 20% poorest Americans are expected to pay an average of $1,000 more so it's not a tax cut if you're in the bottom fifth. If you're in the second fifth, it's going to cost you $700. So the bottom 40% of Americans, the poor, will be paying $700 to $1,000 more in taxes. So the top 0.1% can keep another $389,000. So they're unapologetic in cutting Medicare benefits.
They're machines, baby. One thing, Sharif, rich people in America are extremely rich, and we have a lot of them. And it's just the way it is. Generosity is not part of their bloodstream, but some of our generous.
The next vote they're holding on the budget is supposed to be at 2 a.m. They're hoping that if they hold it in the middle of the night, that maybe some of the Democrats won't show up and they can more easily pass it. It's a terrible bill.
It's terrible. It's terrible because it's tax cut. All the savings of Doge are out the window when these tax cuts come down.
This will add roughly $500 billion a year to the deficit.
By the
Yeah,
way,
and
they
right.
StreamYard just added a new feature. I just read it as I went in to check on Sasha, but apparently now you can make your audience part of the show. So Chat Overlay lets you display live comments directly on your stream, creating real-time engagement and deeper connection with your viewers. So apparently they're going to let you actually see the chat like you do on Twitter and stuff off to the side, so you can actually have real live back and forth discussion and all along those lines. So
Oh, yeah. Well, I've been experimenting with TikTok. I'm not sure how Kim does the overlays yet. I haven't figured it out. Someone needs some lessons on that. But I'll tell you this, Mark. The minute I put us on TikTok, you get tens of thousands of views instantaneously. I mean, it's unbelievable. So it has unbelievable distribution. Do you get TikTok in Bangladesh, Sharif?
Yeah.
Oh my
Social
Lord.
media is very popular, very popular.
Yeah, TikTok is huge,
TikTok is-
and
yeah.
we're not moving our platform onto TikTok. We are expanding our platform into TikTok to add it as a distribution platform. But man, they just get like every time I've experimented with it, but I haven't figured out how you do the overlay yet. You get tons of views.
Let's go back to the tax bill for a second. So the tax bill will cut between 700 and 900 billion from Medicaid, and 13.7 million Americans will lose health care coverage.
Yeah, okay. The tax bill this bill is designed to screw the poor and enhance the rich. Now, personally, I have no problem with it, at least for me. But philosophically, I got a real big problem with it because why you don't need to screw the poor people, man. They're screwed enough. But I don't know if they're going to do anything about it or not. It's pretty bad. And anyway, we're going to be going in a couple minutes because we're going to be heading over to Poland for the people who are watching us on the network, on Roku channel, because we have a channel on Roku, for Amazon. Amazon's been actually a pretty good partner for us for quite some time. Not just Amazon Fire, but our bookstore alliance we have with Amazon has been pretty good. Well, also, Dr. Sharif, you have people that wrote books. We have our own bookstore with Amazon, and we can bring them on to a lot of channels and sell their books. It's just the nature of the beast. That's all I can say. And our latest thing we're working on is Blockbuster Video, and I will be meeting people from India and Pakistan, maybe even from Bangladesh.
Are you buying the brand since Blockbuster's out of business?
No, we own Blockbuster Video TV. We own
Okay.
it. We're not buying it. We already own it, Rick. Okay. The only question is, if you go to Blockbuster Video TV, you can see it. The website's up. It has placeholders right now. There's all these movie placeholders. They're not original.
So I can develop a game show for you built around Blockbuster and entertainment trivia. I worked on this very project like 20 years ago, back when Blockbuster existed.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, the thing is, what we're doing is we're building a movie channel around Blockbuster Video TV.
Yeah, but you can't. I mean, it can't be all movies all the time. Why just throw in a half hour or even a 15-minute game show?
We could do that, but do you know how many movies are out there internationally we could buy and put on Blockbuster Video TV? There's more movies than there are. We have programming time to put them on.
Yeah, but there's a reason you can buy them, because they're kind of crappy. The movies that you get a deal on,
yeah, but some of them may not be so bad. So the thing is, it's almost like shopping real estate. When I shop real estate, there's a lot of real estate that's bad. Okay, and I have to go through hundreds, literally hundreds, if not thousands, of properties to buy one because they're really bad. But you then find one or two that's really good at a reasonable price. So I'm going movie shopping. And then once we put it on the network, it can play indefinitely because the thing is it's streaming. And people can watch it indefinitely on blockbustervideo.tv. So if you go to Blockbuster Video TV, you'll actually see we already have our site. It's already built. It's just that, Wayne, they're placeholders, okay? In other words, wait, these aren't kind of real movies. They're placeholders. Yeah, that's true. But it's going to eventually go into where there are going to be real movies on that network. So that's one of our plans for 2025 is developing Blockbuster Video TV. And this way, people like Sharif can watch American movies and see what we do over here, if you want to. If you don't want to, you don't have to watch American movies. So anyway, I think we're heading to Poland because it's at the hour, and I know that Mark has moved over there. And we'll see you tomorrow on World Mission. Bye-bye.